In this video, I'm going to teach you how to put a string onto a yo-yo and get it set up for learning tricks. Now specifically, I'm going to show you four things. I'm going to show you how to attach the string to the yo-yo. Then I'm going to show you how to adjust the string for your height, which will make learning tricks easier. Once you adjust the string, you're going to have to retie the knot at the top of the string, so I'm going to show you how to do that. And finally, I'm going to show you the best way to put it on your finger. All this will come in handy when you get a new yo-yo and you need to attach the string, or when you've been practicing for a while and your string starts to wear out and it might even break. So I'm going to teach you how to replace your strings and get your yo-yo up and running again right now. A yo-yo string has two sides. There's the side with the knot, and later in the video I'm going to show you how to turn this into a slip knot so that it'll attach firmly to your finger. And then there's the side that you put onto the yo-yo. And when you first look at this, you may be wondering, how in the world do I get it on there? And you might even think that you need to tie a knot with the string onto the yo-yo to get it to work. But you definitely don't want to do that, because that's a surefire way to keep your yo-yo from working. So let me show you what to do. The first thing you want to do is pinch the string at the end and then pinch the string about an inch or two below that. Then untwist the string, and what you'll see is that the strands in the string are going to separate. And as soon as you can see two separate strands, you can actually grab those strands and pull the string apart. And what I like to do is insert my thumb and middle finger, and that way I can spread it apart as far as possible so that I can actually get it onto the yo-yo. Now, one thing that you want to keep in mind is you always want to put the yo-yo string onto the yo-yo when the yo-yo is already put together. There is a tendency when you're new to take the yo-yo apart and get it on there, because you don't have to open up the loop quite as big. But you don't want to do that, because there's a really good chance that the string will actually slip off of the bearing and get caught in between the two halves as you screw it together. And that's a surefire way to quickly break your string. So just get into the habit of always having the yo-yo together first when you put the string on. One problem you may encounter when you're first learning to put a string onto a yo-yo is that the strands, they kind of wrap up in a weird way so that the string isn't smooth coming off the yo-yo. And this is actually a pretty easy problem to solve. All you need to do is pinch the string just above the area where the problem is, and then you're going to untwist just a little bit and pull, and that'll center the string, which will smooth it out and take care of the problem. The method I just showed you for attaching the string to the yo-yo is called a single loop, and that's the method that you want to use for the vast majority of yo-yos. Now, pretty much the only exceptions are yo-yos that come with this little plastic insert. And so let me show you how the string is supposed to go on those. These yo-yos are usually brain-style yo-yos and also yo-yos called transaxles. And the string just needs to affix to that plastic piece a little bit differently. So it's going to start off the same way, where you're going to open up the loop at the end of the string and you're going to put it on. But instead of just letting the string go, you're actually going to cross the strings and then wrap it around one more time and even two more times. And so this would be considered a triple loop, because the string's around it 3 times. And then that'll allow these types of yo-yos to work properly. Now, if you have a responsive yo-yo with a bearing or a wood axle, using a double loop or a triple loop will cause the yo-yo to play a little bit differently. If you have a fixed axle yo-yo, it'll keep the yo-yo from sleeping. So if you have a little brother or little sister and you want your yo-yo to play easier for them, you can always double loop it, and that'll make it easier until they get a little bit better, and then you can go back to a single loop so that the yo-yo can sleep again. For yo-yos with ball bearings, sometimes a double loop or a triple loop will allow the yo-yo to play a little bit more responsive, which again can make some tricks easier, but it should still allow the yo-yo to sleep. And so it's something that you'll want to experiment with and find out what works for you. Once you have the string attached to the yo-yo, the next thing you want to do is adjust it for your height. Now, this is especially important for new players, because you don't want the yo-yo to be constantly hitting the ground as you practice, because that's really going to throw you off. The ideal height for a yo-yo string should be that when your arm is parallel to the ground, the yo-yo is not touching the floor. And in most cases, that'll keep you from hitting the floor. Now, once you get better, you can experiment with longer strings, because that'll open up a different set of tricks, or you might want to try shorter strings so that your tricks can go faster. But this is just a really, really good place to start. So when you want to adjust the string for your height, the first thing that you want to do is you want to set it on the ground right in between your feet. And then you want to find your belly button and put your pinky right where your belly button is, right on top of the string. And right where the string comes over your first finger, you're going to pinch the string right there and fold it over. and this is going to end up as the top of your new loop. And so all you're going to do is tie your loop, and then you can get a pair of scissors to cut off the excess. So let me show you how to tie that loop. As we already showed, you're going to fold the string over at your right height so that this is the top of your loop. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so that it's easier to see. And all you're going to do is treat these two strings as if they're one and tie a basic knot. So just take the string and fold it over on top of itself just like this. And then you're going to take the top of the string, you're going to fold it under this and through this hole right here. And when you do that, you can see it looks like that. And if you pull it tight, you'll see that it makes another loop that is very similar to the loop that was already on the top of the string. And so to finish the job, all you need to do, like we showed, is get your scissors and cut this part off, and then you'll be good to go. The last thing you're going to do is turn this loop at the top of the string into a slip knot, which is adjustable. The reason you want to do this is because then it can fit tightly on your finger and it won't come off in the middle of practice. So this is actually pretty simple. All you're going to do is take this string coming down from the knot, and you're going to feed it through the loop at the top of the string. And when you do that, if you pull the strings apart, you can see that now you have a loop that is adjustable. So the last step is you're going to insert your middle finger right into the middle of that loop and tighten it down right in between your first and second knuckle. And you want to put the string there because that gives you the largest range of motion, which will help you learn tricks easier. Now that you've got the string onto the yo-yo, you've adjusted it for your height, and you've got it on your finger, you are ready to start learning tricks.